with the breaking news here just hours after that very heated debate between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Trump is now facing new backlash from the highest echelons of his own party. House Speaker Paul Ryan has told his GOP colleagues this morning that he will no longer defend Donald Trump and will not campaign for him further. Instead, the speaker said that he'll be focusing on helping Republicans win congressional races. Ryan's decision follows the bombshell release of that 2005 video showing Donald Trump making offensive and degrading remarks about women, remarks that Donald Trump just last night dismissed as mere locker room talk. To discuss it all, I'm joined now in Washington by Kevin Sheridan. He's the founder of the Sheridan Media Group and also rather consequently served as the communications director for Paul Ryan during his VP campaign in 2012. So first to the news really of the moment here, Kevin. What to make of Speaker Ryan's decision?
Well, they had a conference call today that I think they discussed the landscape and the current reality that each member is going to have to make their own decision in their own districts, depending on how that district views Donald Trump and what they need to do to go forward to win their own races. And this is getting a lot of news, but this is kind of the same position that they've always been in. And you've seen members who have broken from Donald Trump before, whether or not this is anything more than that. I think it's just a reality that right now we've got the top of a ticket that is running on a different policy program than the entire House is running on. And, so this is kind of an inevitable function of that. And I think that, Paul Ryan is going to continue to campaign. He's going to be out there in 42 different cities and 17 different states in the next month. And they'll just focus on keep the House, keep the Senate.
Kevin, you do refer, I'm assuming, to the most tenuous of endorsements that Paul Ryan did give to Donald Trump, and certainly it was it seemed forever to be fraying, even as it was given. So first, a couple of points, though, with regard to just more of the same. Paul Ryan here did not specifically rescind his endorsement. What's the political calculus there?
Look, he's not going to campaign with him. That's all he has said. And Donald Trump, it's not the job of the Speaker of the House to elect the president anyway. Donald Trump is running his own campaign, and whether or not he has the endorsements of certain party leaders or not I don't think it's as relevant as a lot of people make it out to be. Paul Ryan has not rescinded his endorsement. I think he's just trying to keep his head down, focus on winning back the House, keeping the House and keeping the Senate.
It may not matter. Certainly Donald Trump would argue that no, he doesn't think it matters either. But we have seen people leaving this campaign, fleeing, unendorsing en masse in the last 72 hours. I also want to point you to something that Paul Ryan said very specifically today, that he's going to spend his entire energy making sure that Hillary Clinton does not get a blank check. That certainly seems to not require a lot of reading between the lines as to who he believes is going to be the next president.
Well, if the campaign stays on the current trajectory, Hillary Clinton will be elected president. And I think that's unfortunate for the country because I think she's going to be a terrible, terrible president. I think she'll go in with the highest negatives we've ever seen, and she'll have virtually no mandate to do anything. However, it is incumbent upon the majority leader in the Senate and the Speaker of the House to keep a buffer between a Hillary Clinton presidency and, the policies that she's going to subscribe, and the American people. So that's where this fight is going to be waged, And, if Donald Trump can somehow continue to, weaponize himself and go into the next debate and blow up Hillary Clinton and somehow win, so be it. And, the House and Senate will work with him all the same. But he's looking at the current trajectory, and I think anybody with, looking at this through a purely political lens sees that it is going to be a tough race for Donald Trump to now win.
It certainly became exponentially more so with the release last Friday of that tape in which he was heard making degrading and offensive remarks with regard to women, seemingly to gleefully endorse sexual assault. It was something he spoke to last night and something that he dismissed as he had in his initial response to it. I want to play a little bit of what he said last night, get your reaction on the other side.
You bragged that you have sexually assaulted women. Do you understand that?
No, I didn't say that at all. I don't think you understood what was said. This was locker room talk. I'm not proud of it. I apologize to my family. I apologize to the American people. Certainly, I'm not proud of it. but this is locker room talk. You know, when we have a world where you have ISIS chopping off heads, where you have, and frankly, drowning people in steel cages, where you have wars and horrible, horrible sights all over, where you have so many bad things happening. This is like medieval times. We haven't seen anything like this, the carnage all over the world. And they look and they see. Can you imagine the people that are, frankly, doing so well against us with ISIS? And they look at our country and they see what's going on. Yes, I'm very embarrassed by it. I hate it. But it's locker room talk, and it's one of those things. I will knock the hell out of ISIS.
Just for the record, though, are you saying that what you said on that bus 11 years ago, that you did not actually kiss women without consent or grope women without consent?
I have great respect for women. Nobody has more respect for women than I do.
So for the record, you're saying you never did that?
I said things that, frankly, you hear these things are said. And I was embarrassed by it, but I have tremendous respect for women.
Have you ever done those things?
Women have respect for me. And I will tell you, no, I have not.
I can say, as somebody who spent, well, the first decade or so of my career in locker rooms, I can personally say I never heard that in any locker room in which I worked. However, Kevin, that certainly dropped and certainly had the seismic impact on this campaign that we saw on Friday. It was not the only thing we've seen, though, in this election cycle. So was this, what we saw Friday, was this a straw, but one that broke that back of the camel?
Yeah, the political world was vibrating through the whole weekend based on that one tape, and it was because you heard in his own words something that shocked and appalled a lot of people. He's apologized for it now to his family and to the American people last night. And the more interesting thing now, though, is that he has gone fully, I think, out of a purely desperation move to attacking the Clintons on things that we've been told as Republicans we shouldn't talk about for the last 20, 30 years. And he's saying a lot of the things that a lot of Republicans and others have thought about the Clintons for a long time. And so in that way, who knows where this goes? It could this could take her negatives and go higher from here. She's already at 55%, 60% on approval rating anyway. But if he can actually make that case, I think it just wounds her. I don't know that it's a winning strategy, other than it will unite the base behind him who wanted to hear this all along. I
suppose it's hard to consider the element of surprise with regard to Donald Trump, but what did you make of that decision to hold that event with 4 of Bill Clinton's accusers roughly an hour before that debate last night?
Yeah, it was stunning. I thought that this was always a possibility, and it took a moment of desperation and a moment where he needed to get everyone to stop talking about the tape to throw this Hail Mary, and he did it. And it was pretty shocking. And to have that side-by-side of Chelsea and Bill Clinton sitting in the front row, and Bill Clinton peering over to his accusers was, absolutely stunning reality TV kind of stuff that we've never seen in modern political debate history. And it was shocking. And let's see what happens in the next one. Is he going to do this again? Is he going to, continue to campaign with these women? Is he going to try and make the case against the Clintons in this way and this way only? I don't know. It's unprecedented, and we're in uncharted territory right now.
I would guess, just personally for you, Kevin, as somebody who has been really a member of the party, worked in it, but in your specific part of it, with regard to handling communications for major candidates. You just mentioned it, the reality TV aspect of this. If we accept as a premise that these 2 candidates are a reflection of the electorate that would have them, how then to navigate the next 29 days, where what we saw last night, something that the Washington Post called a dark turn in presidential political history, is now seemingly the norm?
Yeah. I think the biggest question is, look, Donald Trump is a Godzilla that the Republican Party has sort of created, and the country has created it in this reality TV kind of world we live in, and it remains to be seen whether or not he continues to train his fire on Hillary, or if he turns and tries to destroy the Republican tent now. I don't know. He's a wild card. He always has been. This is going to be a very interesting next 29 days. I hope he continues to focus on his main issue, and that is change versus more of the same. talk about the policies that got him here. If you keep the criticism of fellow Republicans to a minimum, because there's just no way he's going to win without a unified-ish party.
But to that point, Kevin, it wasn't so much policy that got him here. It really was the force of personality. So how difficult would it be for him to, frankly, make that sort of shift away from a response that, frankly, we've really come to expect at this point towards something that might turn the conversation in a new direction?
Well, his best argument was the argument he made in the first 30 minutes of the first debate, and that was that he is change and that she's a self-dealing insider and she's more of the same and she hasn't done anything in the last 30 years. So where's the proof that she'll do anything in the next 4? And she had no answer for that. And it was stunning to see that she was not prepared to even be able to respond to that. And had he not gone down then all the rabbit holes that she and all the traps that she set for him in defending himself in that first debate, he had the winning argument. If he goes back to that argument, I think he could do some real damage, and his numbers could improve. I don't know at this point whether that's going to be enough. I think suburban women especially have probably rendered their judgment, and I think it's going to be a really long shot chance now that he has any hope of winning in November.
Then what does this mean specifically, perhaps, for Mike Pence? I mean, you mentioned Paul Ryan, for whom, again, that endorsement was ever tenuous and felt rather brazenly political, if understandably so. For Mike Pence, however, this is someone who we were told, many reports suggested that when he heard that tape this past Friday, that it was essentially, I'm stepping away for 48 hours, that he was livid, that reports from inside the camp suggested that the governor was nuclear about it, and yet there he was today, full-throatedly endorsing his candidate anew. What to make of, since we are now talking, as Paul Ryan was, about individual political futures and political careers, what to make of Mike Pence's?
Well, Mike Pence, I think that's a reflection of the fact that he probably was pretty livid about it and disgusted by it. Whether or not he should be surprised by it, that's a different story. But this is the candidate he signed up with. But he took 48 hours to step aside and not be the main voice out there defending him. Now, in fairness, a lot of other people didn't do that either. So I mean, this is really for him and for Trump and his family and for his closest advisors to make the case that he's truly sorry and that he understands the impact of what he said, and ask for forgiveness. Now, Mike Pence has come back and he'll continue to campaign with him, because what Donald Trump did last night was effectively bring those Republicans who supported him in the first place back. And I think you'll see less and less defections because of it, but there's still more tapes that could come out, and I think then you might see people jumping ship again.
We, to a degree, I suppose, know what the response of Donald Trump and his campaign will be, since he has already said that he does not believe that he needs really the endorsement of anyone to win come November. But what do you think today's news, coupled with the defection en masse over these last 72 hours, will mean for Donald Trump?
Well, Donald Trump he's always been running his own race, and he's been running as the outsider. So, it's always puzzled me why he needs to attack the Republican Party at this point anyway. The Republican Party mostly will be there. What he needs is about 90% of the Republican Party, though, to show up on Election Day and actually vote for him. If enough of those people stay home, that's going to be really tough for him to win. So just purely political calculus, he should just stop attacking the Republican Party. Anybody who wants to unendorse him or, attack him, hopefully the Republicans can keep this to a minimum and focus on winning their own races and him beating Hillary Clinton. I think the best road forward for Donald Trump is continue to make the case for change against more of the same from Hillary Clinton, a self-dealing insider who's got rich off of her public service in Washington for the last 30 years and has no accomplishments to show for it. If he can focus on that and stay away from the other stuff, he has a fighting chance. There's still a shot.
That's an awfully big if, however, as well. Kevin Sheridan, your insights very much appreciated today. We thank you for them.
Thank you.
And they're going to do it again. Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, one final chance to step up onto the same stage and let their voices be heard. Their final debate scheduled for Wednesday, October 19th in Las Vegas, Nevada. You can watch our primetime coverage. It will begin said Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, followed by the debates beginning at 9.